Hey everyone, how's it going today? It is Wednesday and I put a little schedule up so that we can go through things as we need to. First of all, just checking in, hoping everybody's all right. If you need to contact me, don't forget Dojo, this, Google Classroom, all the rest. I am getting your messages. Cassandra, I will see what's up with the Google Classroom for music. Maybe I copied it off my email wrong. We'll figure it out. I wanted to go over the math in the packet, and then we will look at Sea of Monsters Chapter 1. So, first things first, we have, in the packet for day 1, there are front and back, there's several pages, there's like 6 or 7 pages of this. And if you look at your tasks, it just says basically keep working. So that's fine, we can work, it's just work. All right, so I'm looking at this page that says ratios, and it says for exercises 1 to 10, write each ratio as a fraction in its simplest form, then explain its meaning. All right, let's take a look at the first one, because it's been a while. It says we have 3 sailboats for every 6 fan boats. All right, so it's in a fraction, but then it tells us to put it in its simplest form. Well, 3 over 6 is the same as 1 over 2, because we are basically dividing both of these by 3. So, this is the answer. And explain its meaning. For every 1 sailboat, there are 2 fan boats. And that's what you do for 1 through 10. You just go through it, write it, reduce it, explain it. Number 11 asks you to do the same thing, and number 12 asks you to do the same thing. And that's that whole page. That's all they want you to do. Fraction, reduce, explain. That's instructions. I have mine double-sided. I don't know if yours is double-sided as well. Equivalent ratio is 1. Ruby was paid $24 to sweep 4 walks. Which of the following can be represented by an equivalent ratio? Explain your thinking. All right, so what do we know and what do we want to know? Well, basically, let's see. We know that for 4 walks, she got $24. Miss Rimmer, why did you do it that way? Because I was looking at it and they want to know 3 walks and 5 walks. So I just made a table. Not that hard. All right. So how many times is 4 going to 24? Yeah, 6. So she's getting $6 for every walk. So how am I going to fill this out? I'm going to do my 6's. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Then the questions go right along with this. If you take the minute to write this out, fast. Easy, easy, easy stuff. But remember, a table is a way to organize data, and that's exactly what we did here. Okay, so that's that. Now this one about the budget, I'm going to do that one tomorrow because I want you working that one out. I would love to see your pictures. I would love to see if you drew it out because that's how I'm going to solve it. I know they have all these different ways. You know my philosophy. However you find the answer, I don't really care. And that's what Common Core says. Figure it out. All right. Then we have another one that's just basically write it, reduce it, and go from there. Sorry, alerts coming on my phone. And then there's another one that says write each rate as a unit rate. All right, that's a little bit different from a ratio because the idea of a rate means that I'm going to take 14 hours in 2 weeks. I want to find out how many hours in 1 week, which means how do I get from 2 to 1? Well, I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to divide my denominator by itself to get 1. What does that do for my numerator? Well, whatever I do to one side or to the bottom, I have to do the top. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. So this person gets 7 hours a week. And that's what you do on the page about rates. Remember, rates, the key number here is 1. And that's it. Now, that's not it, but I will definitely go through the packet more tomorrow. Every day I'm going to take a look at the math part of the packet and give you a quick reminder. But I think you guys have got this. It's stuff we already know. And if you're really, really, really stuck, you can use some of those apps just to check your work, but don't let the app do the work for you. I do that with my son's work. I check things just to make sure it's like, is that how you do that? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, this one's a little different. I think it's this. Let me check it. Okay, that works. All right, so that's that. So we've got the first chapter of Sea of Monsters as promised because it is Wednesday. And we are going to do the first 7 pages. So grab your book, settle back, let's read. Chapter 1, my best friend shops for a wedding dress. My nightmare started like this. I was standing on a deserted street in some little beach town. It was the middle of the night. A storm was blowing. Wind and rain ripped at the palm trees along the sidewalk. Pink and yellow stucco buildings lined the street, their windows boarded up. A block away, past a line of hibiscus bushes, the ocean churned. Florida, I thought, though I wasn't sure how I knew that. I'd never been to Florida. Then I heard hooves clattering against the pavement. I turned and saw my friend Grover running for his life. Yeah, I said hooves. Grover's a satyr. From the waist up, he looks like a typical gangly teenager with a peach fuzz goatee and a bad case of acne. He walks with a strange limp, but unless you happen to catch him with his pants on, which I don't recommend, you never know there was anything unhuman about him. Baggy jeans and fake feet hide the fact that he's got furry hindquarters and hooves. Grover's been my best friend since 6th grade. He'd gone on this adventure with me and a girl named Annabeth to save the world, but I hadn't seen him since last July when he set off alone on a dangerous quest, a quest no satyr had ever returned from. Anyway, in my dream, Grover was hauling goat tail, holding his human shoes in his hands the way he does when he needs to move fast. He clopped past the little tourist shops and surfboard rental places. The wind bent the palm trees almost to the ground. Grover was terrified there was something behind him. He must have come from the beach. Wet sand was caked in his fur. He'd escaped from somewhere. He was trying to get away from something. A bone-rattling growl cut through the storm. Behind Grover, at the far end of the block, a shadowy figure loomed. It swatted aside a street lamp which burst into a shower of sparks. Grover stumbled, whimpering in fear. He muttered to himself, "Have to get away, have to warn them." I couldn't see what was chasing him, but I could hear it muttering and cursing. The ground shook as it got closer. Grover dashed around the street corner and faltered. He'd run into a dead-end courtyard full of shops. No time to back up. The nearest door had been blown open by the storm. The sign above the darkened display window read, St. Augustine Bridal Boutique. Grover dashed inside. He dove behind a rack of wedding dresses. The monster's shadow passed in front of his shop. I could smell the thing. A sickening combination of wet sheep wool and rotten meat and that weird sour body odor only monsters have, like a skunk that's been living off Mexican food. Grover trembled behind the wedding dresses. The monster's shadow passed. Silence except for the rain. Grover took a deep breath. Maybe the thing was gone. Then lightning flashed. The entire front of the store exploded and the monster's voice bellowed, "Mine!" I sat bolt upright, shivering in my bed. There was no storm. No monster. Morning sunlight filtered through my bedroom window. I thought I saw a shadow flicker across the glass, a human-like form. But then there was a knock on my bedroom door. My mom called, "Percy, you're going to be late," and the shadow disappeared. Must have been my imagination. A 5th-story window with rickety old fire escape? There couldn't have been anyone out there. Come on, dear, my mother called again. Last day of school, you should be excited. You've almost made it. Coming, I managed. I felt under my pillow. My fingers closed reassuringly around the ballpoint pen I always slept with. I brought it out, studied the ancient Greek writing engraved on the side. Ankylosmos, riptide. I thought about uncapping it, but held it back. I hadn't used riptide for so long. Besides, my mom had made me promise not to use deadly weapons in the apartment after I'd swung a javelin the wrong way and had taken out her china cabinet. I put the sword away on my nightstand and dragged myself out of bed. I got dressed as quickly as I could. I tried not to think about my nightmare or monsters or the shadow at my window. Have to get away, have to warn them. What had Grover meant? I made a 3-fingered claw over my heart and pushed it outward, an ancient gesture Grover had once taught me for warding off evil. The dream couldn't have been real. Last day of school. My mom was right. I should have been excited. For the first time in my life, I'd almost made it an entire year without getting expelled. No weird accidents, no fights in the classroom, no teachers turning into monsters and trying to kill me with poisoned cafeteria food or exploding homework. Tomorrow, I'd be on my way to my favorite place in the world, Camp Half-Blood. Only one more day to go. Surely I couldn't even I couldn't mess that up. As usual, I didn't know how wrong I was. My mom made blue waffles and blue eggs for breakfast. She's funny that way, celebrating special occasions with blue food. I think it's her way of saying anything's possible. Percy can pass 7th grade. Waffles can be blue. Little miracles like that. I ate at the kitchen table while my mom washed dishes. She was dressed in her work uniform, a starry blue skirt and a red and white striped blouse that she wore to sell candy at Sweet on America. Her long brown hair was pulled back in a ponytail. The waffles tasted great, but I guess I wasn't digging in like I usually did. My mom looked over and frowned. Percy, are you all right? Yeah, fine. But she could always tell when something was bothering me. She dried her hands and sat down across from me. School or... She didn't need to finish. I knew what she was asking. I think Grover's in trouble, I said, and I told her about my dream. She pursed her lips. We didn't talk much about the other part of my life. We tried to live as normally as possible, but my mom knew all about Grover. I wouldn't be too worried, dear. Grover's a big satyr now. If there was a problem, I'm sure we would have heard from camp. Her shoulders tensed at the word camp. What is it? I asked. Nothing, she said. I'll tell you what. This afternoon we'll celebrate the end of school. I'll take you and Tyson to Rockefeller Center to that skateboard shop you like. Oh man, that was tempting. We were always struggling with money. Between my mom's night classes and my private school tuition, we can never afford to do special stuff like shop for a skateboard. But something in her voice bothered me. Wait a minute, I said. I thought we were packing me up for camp tonight. She twisted her dish rag. Oh, dear. About that, I got a message from Chiron last night. My heart sank. Chiron was the activities director at Camp Half-Blood. He wouldn't contact us unless something seriously wrong was going on. What'd he say? He thinks it might not be safe for you to come to camp just yet. We might have to postpone. Wow. In light of everything in our world, how apt is this sentence? Postpone? Mom, how could it not be safe? I'm Half-Blood. It's like the only safe place on earth for me. Usually, dear, but with the problems they're having. What problems? Percy, I'm very, very sorry. I was hoping to talk to you about this afternoon. I can't explain it all now. I'm not even sure Chiron can. Everything happened so suddenly. My mind was reeling. How could I not go to camp? I wanted to ask a million questions, but just then the kitchen clock chimed the half hour. My mom looked almost relieved. 7:30, dear. You should go. Tyson will be waiting. But, Percy, we'll talk this afternoon. Go to school. That was the last thing I wanted to do, but my mom had this fragile look in her eyes. A kind of warning, like if I pushed too hard, she'd start to cry. Besides, she was right about my friend Tyson. I had to meet him at the subway station on time or he'd get upset. He was scared of traveling underground alone. I gathered up my stuff, but I stopped in the doorway. Mom, this problem at camp, could it have anything to do with my dream about Grover? She wouldn't meet my eyes. We'll talk this afternoon, dear. I'll explain as much as I can. Reluctantly, I told her goodbye. I jogged downstairs to catch the number 2 train. I didn't know it at the time, but my mom and I would never get to have our afternoon talk. In fact, I wouldn't be seeing home for a long, long time. As I stepped outside, I glanced at the brownstone building across the street, and just for a second, I saw a dark shape in the morning sunlight, a human silhouette against the brick wall, a shadow that belonged to no one. And it rippled and vanished. All right, so that is chapter 1. So, in Google Classroom, we will have a quick, what's going on? What's the problem at Camp Half-Blood? What is his shadow? So I will post the question and you get to answer it. So that's it for today. I hope that helped with the math. We will do some more tomorrow. I have a Zoom conference with the teachers, so I will find out more about Zoom and if there's like rules or regs or anything like that. If not, we will probably start setting up Zoom on Tuesdays and Thursdays from like 10 to 11 so that you guys can have some FaceTime and then go get some food because I want you guys eating. And that's about it for today. So hope you're well, keep it up, and peace out.